Hey everyone, I was grading your two-step equations review from yesterday, and I was just noticing a lot of common silly mistakes. So I wanted to spend another day on practicing these two-step equations. And in this video, I will address some of those common mistakes that I saw on those assignments. Please make sure you are looking at the assignments that I returned back to you and look at all the comments that I made on each of the slides and use those comments to help you make corrections and then turn that assignment back into me, and I'll be able to give you guys more points on your grade. Okay, so solving these two-step equations. Please also remember, boys and girls, that I gave you the steps right here. So what you had to do was written for you off to the left-hand side. You just had to read it. So we'll do two more together, and then you guys will do some more practice on your own. So for this equation, the first step is to just copy it in this first row of text boxes. So as you guys can see, I already wrote the operations in for you. So all you have to write is the terms. So first we're going to write in 2x, then we're going to type in 20, and then we're going to type in 60. Okay, now we're ready to start solving. Our first step is going to be to subtract the constant, which is the number without the variable. So in this case, the constant is 20. We are subtracting the constant from both sides of the equation. Remember, boys and girls, what you do to one side of the equation, you must do to the other because it's an equal sign. So those two sides always have to stay balanced. So if I subtract 20 on one side, I must also subtract 20 on another side. All right, so I'm subtracting 20 on this side and I'm subtracting 20 on the other side. Yesterday, I saw some of you subtract 20 on this side and then add 20 on this side. No, we must be doing the same operations with the same numbers to both sides. It always has to remain balanced, okay? After we type that in, we bring down this 2x. Yesterday, I saw a lot of you changing this 2x to another number. We simply bring that down, okay? Then your 20s cancel out. Then I actually have to subtract over here. I have to do 60 minus 20, which is 40. Okay, so that difference goes in this text box. Now I'm up to step 2, which again, I wrote step 2 out for you. We are now dividing both sides by the number in front of the variable. So I am dividing both sides by 2. 2x divided by 2 is simply x, and 40 divided by 2 is 20. So we get x is equal to 20, and we're done. Okay? Remember, big takeaway for today, boys and girls, make sure you are doing the same operations with the same numbers to both sides of the equations. Okay? We'll do one more. Number 2, again, we have another equation. So my first step is to type this in the first row of text boxes. Okay? Now this brings me to step 1. In step 1, I'm now adding the constant to both sides. And the reason why I'm adding is because I have a subtraction sign in my original equation. I need to get rid of that minus 2. Well, the opposite of minus 2 is plus 2. So we add 2 to both sides of the equation. Okay, I bring down this 7x. The 2's are going to cancel. Now I actually have to add these two numbers together. 40 plus 2 is 42. Okay, so I write that sum in this text box here. Okay, now I'm going to divide 7x. I'm going to divide by the number in front of the variable. So I'm dividing by 7 on both sides. 7x divided by 7 is simply x, and 42 divided by 7 is 6. So we get x is equal to 6, and we are done. All right, boys and girls, I would like you to try numbers 3, 4, and 5 and 6, on your own. Okay, if you guys have questions, please comment on the assignment, email me, and I will get back to you very quickly. Also, look at these model examples and look at this video. Now we're gonna, after you guys do those examples, you are then going to do combining like terms review. Okay, so we're gonna talk about right now what like terms are. Hey everyone, like I said yesterday, we are going to start our new unit on angles next week. And in this unit, we're going to have to solve numerous two-step equations, which is why you guys did that practice activity or that review activity for me yesterday. But we're also going to have to combine like terms. and we combined like terms in our expressions unit, so which was a while ago. So I want to spend a day on reviewing how to combine like terms. Okay, so first and foremost, well, what are like terms? Remember, like terms are terms that have the same variable. So, in order for it to be a like term, it just needs to have the same variable or the same letter next to it. It can have a different coefficient or a different number in front of the variable, but the variable must be the same. Okay. Constants, numbers that do not have a variable next to it, like 4, 5, 6, 7, so on, are like terms with each other. If they have no variable next to it, they are constants, and constants are like terms with each other. Okay, so let's look at an example. Here I have a bunch of random terms listed in this list. Okay, we're going to categorize them into like terms. So again, I'm only looking for the terms to have the same letter next to it or the same variable next to it. So 8x, 10x, negative 5x, and 9x are all like terms because they have an x. Okay, negative 9y, 3y are also like terms with each other because they have a y next to it. Okay, and then 7, 2, 1, and negative 8 are like terms with each other because they have no variable next to it. They are constants. Okay, so these are the three different groupings of like terms that we had. Now, when in our expressions unit, when we were combining like terms, we had to, whoops, spoiler alert, we had to combine them, which means we were adding the like terms together. Okay, so that's what we're going to do now. Here I gave you an expression with 4 terms. Remember what a term is, guys? It's just what's separated by the plus signs. So 4x is a term, 3y is a term, 5x is a term, and 2y is a term. Okay, so we want to combine like terms. Well, in our unit, I made you guys every single time color code your like terms. We always took out our color pencils and our markers and our highlighters, and we color coded our like terms. We can do that virtually as well on this Google Slides. We can use the highlighter feature. So I'm first going to identify my like terms. I'm going to start with 4x because it just comes first. If you go up here, highlight color, you can highlight your like terms any color you want. I'm going to highlight this 4x in yellow. Now I'm going to look at these other terms. Where are my other like terms? I'm looking for the term that has an x next to it. Well, that other like term is 5x. Please do not forget, I always told you guys too, when you're combining your like terms and when you're color coding, take the sign in front of the term with it because that's what tells you if your term is positive or negative. So this 5x is a positive 5x, so I'm going to include that plus sign when I combine. Okay, now I'm combining positive 4x and positive 5x. So I'm adding 4x plus 5x. And 4x plus 5x is 9x. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to my expression and see what my other like terms are. Well, I have a 3y. And again, I have a positive 3y. Okay. I'm looking for another term that has a y next to it, which is right here. Positive 2y. Again, notice how I included both signs when I color coded. Okay, so now I know that I'm adding together two positive numbers. I'm adding together 3y plus 2y. So 3y plus 2y gives me a positive 5y. Since it is positive, ladies and gents, we write, in this case we type, that plus sign in my expression and we write 5y. If that was a negative 5y, instead of writing the plus sign, we would write a minus sign. Okay, and there you go. That's our answer. This is completely simplified because these are not like terms. I cannot add together 9x and 5y. They are not like terms. They have a different variable next to it. So we're done. That's our final answer. Okay, let's look at another one. Okay, another expression. I want to combine my like terms. So I always like to start with the first term in my expression and find my like terms. So, whoops, it's 8m. So I'm going to highlight that. Now I'm looking for a like term with 8m. So I'm looking for a term that has an m next to it. Well, right here, I have a positive 2m. So that is a like term. Again, notice how I included that plus sign in my color coding. So now I know I'm adding 8m plus positive 2m. So 8m plus 2m is 10m. Okay, now I'm not done. I have more like terms. I have a positive 6c, whoops, positive 6c, and a positive 2c. Okay, so now I'm adding a positive 6 and a positive 2. So positive 6c plus positive 2c gives me 8c. So my answer here is 10m plus 8c. Okay, number 3. Let's identify our like terms. I'm going to start with my first term, which is 5x. So I have 5x. Now I'm looking for the next term that has an x to it. Well, it's right here. But ladies and gents, we must be careful because there is a minus sign in front of that 2x. So this is a negative 2x. So now when I add, I'm adding 5x. I'm adding 5x plus negative 2x. And 5x plus negative 2x is 3x. Okay, now I have more like terms. I have a positive 8y and be careful, a negative 4y. So now I'm adding positive 8y plus negative 4y. And positive 8y plus negative 4y is a positive 4y. So I write that plus sign in the middle. You guys can't forget to write that plus sign because if you just write 3x 4y, that is incorrect. Remember, our answer is always an expression, which means we need an operation in it. Okay, so even if it's a positive number, we write the plus sign. If our answer was a negative number, we would write the minus sign. Okay, we're going to do one more of these together. All right. Again, we got to combine like terms. So I'm going to start with this 20x because it comes first. Okay. Now I want to find the like term with 20x. I'm going to look for the term that also has an x next to it. Well, that's right here, the 2x. But again, be careful. There is a minus sign in front of that 2x. So that means that this term is a negative 2x. So now when I combine them, I am adding 20x plus negative 2x, which gives me 18x. All right. Next set of like terms. Be careful. Take the sign in front of the term with it. We have a negative 6y. Okay, negative 6y. And if we look at our next set of like terms, I have a negative 5y. Okay, so now I'm adding negative 6y